Hi, I'm Stephen Strait. I'm here at Nova Space in Bordeaux, France. And tomorrow, I'll be flying in 0G. For real this time.
So, having mentioned Einstein, we have a quote from him written on the door of the aircraft on the way in. This is about the happiest moment of his life.
Right.
He says was really when he realized about these relative reference frames that we're talking about. The happiest time of my life was when he realized the gravitational field has only a relative existence. For an observer in free fall from the roof of a house, or in this aircraft, there exists during his fall no gravitational field.
Amazing.
This is exactly what we're doing.
Right.
Einstein was right.
Yeah.
And we're going to prove it tomorrow 31 times.
Can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Let's go in. I'd like to show you the aircraft.
Yeah, let's do it.
So please, come in.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Tell me.
This is our aircraft.
Yeah.
As you can see, this end looks very normal.
Fairly normal.
Right?
Sure.
We need seats just as usual for taxi, takeoff and landing to keep everyone safe.
Right.
We have all of the normal safety equipment, oxygen masks and life vests and seat belts. There is one piece of equipment you probably won't have seen before,
Okay.
which is a smoke hood. So when they introduce that during the safety briefing tomorrow, don't be surprised. It doesn't mean there's going to be a fire.
Okay, good.
It means there's slightly increased likelihood
I
because of all the electronics
Right.
and gases and stuff.
Of course.
So we have extra safety equipment to
Right.
keep everybody safe. A little bit of history of this plane.
Yeah.
It's an A310.
Okay.
We've been using it since 2014.
Wow. All right.
It used to belong to the German cabinet.
Really?
It was the German government's aircraft. When they had government business traveling all over the world.
Amazing.
This was the plane they used, and there's very good reason why it's perfect for us.
Tell me.
Because being a government plane rather than a commercial jet,
Right.
it's very young in terms of flight hours.
Ah.
They don't use it like every day back and
Sure.
forth like a commercial jet
Of
would.
course.
It's young in terms of flight hours, but chronologically, it's pretty old. It's a pretty old aircraft.
Interesting.
That's key, because modern aircraft are all fly-by-wire,
Right.
where you're not really connected to any control surfaces physically. There's a computer in between.
Right,
And it's
right.
listening to the stick and it's doing stuff. The modern Airbus computers would not let you do what we want to do.
Right.
They
Right.
can't do it.
Right. Oh, that's so interesting.
So we
Yeah,
need to
right.
have a plane that's old enough to still be
Right.
proper mechanical
Right.
controls on all of the control surfaces, so
Right.
the pilots can do it.
Right.
Interestingly, the computer is the same as the modern ones, so it doesn't like it very much. It complains.
Really?
The alarms will go off.
Wow.
There's a guy whose job it is in the cockpit to pay attention to which alarms we need to care about and worry about and pay attention to, and which ones we can safely ignore while we do this kind of unusual maneuver.
Right.
But I want to stress we are always within the safety limits of the aircraft. It's not what the computer would normally expect an aircraft to do.
Sure.
But like structurally, we are completely within the safety limits of what this aircraft can do. So you don't need to worry about
Okay.
that. And we also have 4 pilots on board. But I'll tell you a bit more about that once we're closer
Yeah.
to the cockpit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Tell me. This is unbelievable. Amazing space.
So as you see, we have a soft
Right.
floor.
Right.
Right. And also padding on the ceiling
Uh-huh.
and on the walls.
Right.
It's very important because when we're free floating, you could end up kind of anywhere.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And floating around, you're unlikely to hurt yourself. 0G is quite a benign environment. As you know, I've watched you for hours in 0G. You know what you're doing. It's going to be very curious to see you do it.
I can't wait, man. It's going to be fascinating.
That's not the not dangerous, but that's not the hazardous bit, the safety hazard that we're trying to control with the soft matting. It's the double gravity at the end.
Right.
Because this plane does a very specific thing. To get 0 gravity, what you need is to be free to fall. Okay?
Right.
So a rocket doesn't really just go up. People think space is up.
Right.
Space isn't, it is up of course, but to go into orbit, you don't just have to go up. You've got to go sideways as fast as you can. The curve that you go sideways, if you go sideways not fast enough, you curve and you fall and you hit the earth.
Right.
You go a bit faster, your curve is longer, you hit the earth further away.
Right.
If you go fast enough, the curve is the same as the curve of the earth.
Right.
And you fall all the way around and you never hit it. You are falling.
Right.
There is gravity.
Sure.
Otherwise, you don't go in a circle. You go in a straight line.
Right.
That's all an orbit is.
Right.
You're going so fast that you keep missing the Earth.
You're constantly falling in perpetuity.
Yeah, you are free to fall.
Wow.
So that's what we're trying to do here as well.
Right.
But we can't go fast enough. We can't go 9 kilometers a second like they're doing on the ISS. Like when you had a call with Andy.
Yes,
right?
yes,
right?
I did.
Well,
Yeah.
he was doing
Yeah.
9 kilometers a second, going
Right.
around. We
Right.
can't do that. We're already in an aircraft.
Right.
So we fly the very top little bit of a highly elliptical orbit.
Right.
This is not a simulation of zero G. This is real zero G. If the Earth was small enough,
Yeah.
we could continue the whole orbit, right? It takes about half an hour. We'd miss the Earth by 500 meters, and we'd be doing a significant fraction of the speed of light at the bottom.
Yeah.
Obviously, the aircraft can't do that, so we just do those 20 seconds. So, just to explain it, I
Right.
chose a random vehicle.
Totally random.
Yeah, I know.
Looks
where I got
familiar.
this from. Does it?
Yeah,
Why is that?
slightly
It seems to match your patch.
I got the same patch.
Okay, so we cruise along. Imagine this is an aircraft rather than
Yes.
than the Rossi, right? we cruise along at like 6,000 meters.
Uh-huh.
Then, when we're ready for a parabola, we make sure we're close to the maximum speed of the vehicle.
Right.
And then we pitch up quite sharply as we can. We want to keep as much velocity as we can. We pitch
Right.
up. While we're doing that, it takes 20 seconds, and we're in double gravity.
Okay.
1.8.
Gotcha.
Which is nothing for Holden, of course, right?
Please.
So on the Expanse, you take you have the juice.
The juice,
you got
yes.
10 G or whatever you like. It's more, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have that.
Right.
We're fragile humans without this technological advance yet. We're working on it.
Yeah.
So we only do 2G here.
Gotcha.
For 20 seconds. Then you're pointing nose up 50 degrees into the sky.
Wow. Amazing.
Then they cut back on the thrust. You want to no longer have any air resistance. So the thrust cuts back. If there's too much thrust, we would all drift to the back because the ship would catch up with us.
Of course.
If there's too much air resistance, then the ship slows down and we all drift to the front.
Right.
So someone has to exactly match the thrust.
Sure.
If they do that, then we just fall up and over the top.
Wow.
11 seconds up, 11 seconds down, but there's no difference. 'Cause
Right.
during that period, we are free to fall.
Amazing.
The thrust is one thing. That's one pilot does the thrust by himself.
Right. Oh.
A second pilot does the roll to stop us from slipping off to the side somewhere.
Wow.
But by far the most difficult axis is the pitch.
Right.
And there's a third pilot, simultaneous. The only plane in the world that's flown with 3 pilots simultaneously.
That's amazing.
Because the pitch, right, you have to have no lift. If you have lift while you're doing the parabola, then because the ship is lifting, the floor will push against us.
Right.
The floor pushes against you, you're not in zero G.
Sure. Right.
So you want zero lift.
Right.
To get zero lift, you have to be slightly angled down compared to your direction of travel, so the wings don't do anything.
Wow.
Otherwise, planes couldn't take off.
Right.
Right? They
Yeah.
couldn't take off. Because you have to go horizontally on the runway
Yeah.
and get lift, so you take off.
Sure.
You need to be slightly below that, so the wings don't do anything.
That's amazing.
But our direction of travel isn't in a straight line. It's a parabola.
Right.
So it has to be under our direction of travel while we're doing that crazy maneuver.
Wow.
The amount by which you need to be under changes with air pressure, which is changing,
Sure.
and with velocity,
Right.
which is changing.
Which is changing. 3 pilots.
So the guy on the pitch has an incredibly difficult job to do.
Yeah, I can't even
This takes
imagine.
a lot of practice, a lot of precision. He can only do it for 5 parabolas, and then they swap and they rotate.
Wow.
There's a 4th pilot on board, who's the guy that's just done the pitch, who's having a break.
Wow.
So if you see a pilot wandering around out here, don't worry.
Totally normal.
He's got 3 friends.
Okay, good. Right, in case someone wanders out of the cockpit.
Yeah,
Right, everything's fine.
that's absolutely fine.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's how we create this little 0G 20 seconds.
Amazing.
So they've injected us. We're all in a little bit of an orbit.
Right.
And they're trying to fly the plane around us without touching us.
Wow. It's such a wild thing to be able to conceptualize that.
Yeah.
That it's just the choreography involved for those pilots to do something like that is astounding. I don't even know what to say about that.
And just to give you a sense of the precision, that arc from this point, from the injection until the end of 0G,
Yeah.
that arc is 2 kilometers long and 600 meters high. If they are off by 1 meter, vertically,
Yeah.
then we move by 1 meter in here.
Wow.
If they are off by a meter laterally, we move by. So you'll see it's not perfect,
Right.
You move around a little bit.
Sure.
It's not exactly
Yeah.
like the space station,
Right.
but it's better. It's smaller than 1% of Earth G.
That's unbelievable.
Of course, the price we pay for all of this is that you end up like that,
Right. Right.
going really quite fast.
Right.
We want to do it more than once, please.
Please. Yeah, that'd be nice.
So we then have to pull out.
Right.
Right? So they pull back on the stick, and we have this pull-out maneuver that, again, it's symmetrical. Physics is often symmetrical.
Sure.
During the pull-out, you're back into double gravity.
Right.
So you end up back at the flight level you were,
Yeah.
about 6,000 meters.
Right.
The very apex, the top of the parabola in 0G, 8,500 meters. So we have gone up and fallen back down 2.5 kilometers in 1 minute. I hope you're not a nervous flyer.
No, I'm
You're
fine.
not- really? You don't care? You're fine.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good flying.
Then I can also point out that right at the top, we've lost so much speed, we're below the stall speed of the aircraft.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But there isn't really a stall speed because we're not trying to fly.
Right. Right.
You can't stall if you're not flying. We want to fall.
Hence the no modern computer in the cockpit.
Yeah, because the computer would go bananas.
Right. Right.
So that's one parabola.
Right.
20 seconds up, 20 seconds over, 20 seconds out. Takes
Gotcha.
about a minute.
Right.
We're going to do that every 3 minutes, for 2 hours.
Wild. Wild.
There's a few breaks.
Yeah.
You're going to do that 31 times tomorrow.
Wow.
Total of about 10 minutes of zero gravity.
Can't wait. It's so exciting.
All right, let me put that ship down.
Yes.
I'll tell you the reason we do it.
Yes, please.
Normally, the plane is full of scientific experiments,
I see. Okay.
and we're going to get to them. But this
Right.
area, this is actually very unusual. This is a special flight. This is an historic flight.
Yeah.
Because we're very lucky to have the new class of ESA astronauts here.
Amazing.
They've just finished 1 year of basic training.
Yeah.
This is the last activity they do before their graduation next week,
Wow.
assuming everything goes well.
Yes.
Right.
Of course.
So here we have some equipment they're going to train on. It's as if they're translating along handrails on the outside of the space station.
Right.
Manipulating bags full of tools in zero gravity without losing them.
Right.
Moving themselves on a tether.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff. If you like, we can probably get the astronaut trainer to talk to you a bit more detail about
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great.